Deanna is, in every sense of the word, a disruptor. She takes this inherent energy and directs it time and time again to things in our community that need changing or need support or need growth. And it's something that I've seen in very few other people.
Deanna is an amazing woman. I always say she's a force to be reckoned with. Everything that she does in this community comes from her heart. I've never met anyone like her. I really haven't.
Visionary leader is something I always think about when I think about her. Her vision, it may start out, as an idea, but she's able to bring people along with her. She has that characteristic that makes you want to follow her. She makes you want to believe.
She has a wonderful ability to connect easily and quickly with people and to listen.
It's been an honor. My career, I guess, has been really unique in that I have had a chance to look at the same thing through a lot of different lenses. For example, my work in the North End started at CHAP. So I started looking at that neighborhood through a lens of health. And then during that same time, I went on City Council, and you're talking about police, fire, sewers, and things like that. When I left City Council, I went to work for the city as the director of the Neighborhood Youth Corps, later called the Department of Regional Community Advancement. Subsequently, I also served on a charter school board, on a private school board, and on the city school board, which gave me a chance to see education through a lot of different lenses. So I've just gotten to wear a lot of glasses and look at the same thing, which I think is really unique. And it's given me a much deeper and broader perspective about the work I do and the community I live in.
She's uniquely positioned to straddle all of the myriad cultural and business and political divides. She helps us recognize that although we all come from different places, we can join together to get stuff done.
You always hear where they talk about Mansfield is one of the best places to live. Well, she wants that also for all of Mansfield, and that includes the North End. You don't see a lot of factories on this side of town anymore. A lot has changed over the years, and she sees that. So she wants to make that better.
So I grew up on the North End, and I grew up in a house that was owned by my grandparents. 6 generations of our family grew up in this house at some point and lived there. And so watching the neighborhood change, whether it was hearing about it from the 1940s when my grandparents lived there through the 50s and 60s as my mom was growing up, and then me in the 70s and 80s, and then my kids in the 90s and 2000s. And so watching a neighborhood change from exactly the same spot just gives you a really different perspective.
We as a society want to tell the residents of this neighborhood, be smart with your money. But as a community, we've closed every financial institution on the North End. We want to tell this community education is important, but as a community, we closed every school on the North End. We want to tell these people be healthy, but as a community, we closed all the grocery stores. We've begun a development project that is going to create a multifaceted community center that will provide services to the neighborhood and to the larger community that have been absent for 2 generations.
The center is being planned for December of 2025. What we decided to do was create a space so that if a 13, 14-year-old kid walks through, they can see something for themselves. They can see doctors and nurses. They can see an attorney. They can see the architect. They can see nonprofit professionals. They can see artists and performers and athletes and all kinds of things in one place, all catering to them and their families.
I think this is really going to be Deanna's legacy. It'll be the most significant investment in the North End in almost 50 years.
She was like a dog with a bone. If it was something that she believed in and something that she felt would be positive or beneficial to people, she stayed with it. She helped people see their way through it. And she has built the NECIC organization to what it is today, doing that very thing.
She really has a gift to empower people.
A woman of power who loves unconditionally, who gets things done.
So over the years through NECIC, we've had a chance to be intentional about putting a plan together. We're seeing a lot of that. We're seeing it in over 600 dilapidated houses come down now in just one area. We're seeing it in terms of a formerly vacant industrial site now becoming an urban farm, or where the arsonist a few years ago had wreaked havoc, and now we have a teaching garden there. So I think that taking things that are previously maybe discarded and bringing those things back to life and their value back is kind of a theme that I can see throughout my life and in my work.
Her legacy is very meaningful, although she doesn't operate like that. She's a very skilled networker and a collaborator who takes no credit, doesn't want any credit for anything that she's doing.
I think she will be remembered as a woman who was selfless. She gave all. She gave all.
I've given my life to this community, but it's an honor to do it.